Welcome to my chambers. Last week, the House of Representatives, despite objections voiced vociferously by the chair of the House Intelligence Committee, voted to enact amendments to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which will allow the National Security Administration, America's 60,000-person strong domestic spy agency, to spy on every person in the United States of America. That means that the federal government, if this becomes law, and it appears that it will, can capture in real time the transmission of all fiber optic cable data. That includes all telephone calls, mobile and landline, and every keystroke on every computer, handheld, desktop, and mainframe everywhere in the United States of America. That's a tremendous amount of data that the government will capture in real time. The government does this because it has coerced the telecoms and the cable and computer service providers to allow the government to have its computers in their facilities. So the data is captured in real time. What is the reason for all this? Well, the Trump administration and Republican leaders have argued that this will help keep us safe. Well, we know it doesn't keep us safe. It produces information overload. Translation, more data than the analysts can go through. That's how these horrible things like happened right here in New York City, where a guy with an ISIS flag drove a truck down a bike path and killed 8 people. And another guy with an ISIS flag tried to blow himself up on the subway. That's why these things happen. Even though the National Security Agency, the domestic spies, had evidence of this before it happened. They didn't have time to go through it. This is a very, very serious issue, the loss of all privacy. And it appears that the Senate will now enact this as well. And President Trump, after initially saying he didn't like it because he's not in favor of all spying all the time, now says he will sign it into law. You have the right to be left alone. Every human being in the United States has the right to privacy. That's not me saying that. That's the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. When the federal government permits its agents to invade that privacy and then permits them to sell the data to law enforcement agencies and permits them to use it in the prosecution of crimes, then your Fourth Amendment protections, for which we fought a revolution against Great Britain, have been destroyed. They were not destroyed as Orwell predicted by a war. They were not destroyed as Orwell predicted by an authoritarian dictator. They were destroyed by the tyranny of the majority. And the tyranny of the majority can be as destructive to human freedom as the tyranny of a madman. Welcome to my chambers. Fight the good fight.
For freedom!